Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, and I sincerely apologize for the short break. And hopefully, I am back again fully to give you the insights that I promised to be giving on this YouTube channel. So, if you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Oluwani Femi. Thank you for clicking to watch this video. So, my assignment for today is to talk about my sector, which is the energy sector. Yeah. Okay, so for people that don't know, I am currently, I pivoted into the energy sector sometimes. I think 2 years back. Yeah, that was when I made up my mind I wanted to be in the sector, and concluding my master's program right now in decentralized smart energy systems. So let's get right into the point. So, what is it about the energy sector and why is everyone talking about it? Let's just say that the energy sector is the whole system that powers our lives. Think about when you flip the switch up and down for you to lighten your room, or when you go to charge your phones, or put in the phone, you go to the fuel station to fill your fuel tank so that you could move from one place to the other. All of these things are powered by the energy sector. Behind the scene, there are thousands of people, organizations that are making these things work out. And I am part of these thousands of people that are in this space. They are trying to figure out how to improve or maintaining already existing infrastructure to keep providing energy, or creating something, innovating in the sector, or trying to gather data, get insights on best practices within the sector. There are people that are digging the oil and the gas that we're using in our homes, using to power our vehicles. There are people that are building technologies around capturing energy from sunlight, the solar panels that we see all around, or there are some persons that are building the wind turbines that provide electricity, and different technologies like that. All of these to power our lives, and this is what the energy sector is about. And this is me officially inviting you, if you've been considering this sector, to take that step today and start working around what you desire. So here's the twist. For decades, we've been relying on fossil fuels, your oil, petrol, the gas, and different forms of fossil fuel to sources of energy for us. But these technologies or these strategies have been hurtful to the planet. And that's why, if you heard about climate change, the climate is changing, the earth is getting warmer, and there is just this global drive for a sustainable and clean form of energy, because energy somehow contributes about 70% of the global emissions that we are trying to curb. So the catch here is that if we can move from the conventional fossil fuel into clean energy, like moving from using diesel, using petrol, using gas, to using solar, wind, bioenergy, and maybe nuclear, although there are controversies around that, we could reduce the risks and the level at which the planet is heating up. So that's the idea. So now I'll be sharing with you 3 key things that I feel you should know to sort of help you see the importance of this sector, and why there is an urgent need for a shift from the conventional fossil fuel to clean energy sources. So now in 2005, countries around the world gathered together and they brought up this treaty known as the Paris Agreement, which is that somehow the global temperature should be reduced to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The goal of the Paris Agreement is to fight climate change by keeping global warming below 2 degrees Celsius, and ideally below 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is the temperature pre-industrial level before the industry started. That's the idea. And then, as we all know, the biggest driver of climate change, or as you may have understood right now from all I've stated before, the biggest driver of climate change is burning fossil fuel for energy. Like, we burn coal, we burn gas, we burn oil to be able to provide energy. Like, globally, the sources of electricity is usually from burning fossil fuel. That is how we generate electricity. In not only that, but in majority of the electricity generated are from burning fossil fuels. So to be able to meet the Paris targets, countries must transform how they produce and use energy. That's the idea, which also would mean that you're shifting to renewables like solar, wind, and hydro. Also, you're cutting emissions from the industries, particularly the steel industry, cement industry, and those energy intensive industries. Also making buildings, appliances, and systems more efficient, and now helping developing countries, they call it poorer countries, to be able to do same fairly and affordably. Now there's something called the nationally determined contribution. This is like a document that every country presents that sort of outlines their plan towards this global shift to mitigate climate change. So that is what you should know. So the second point I also want you to note is that if you think about the Sustainable Development Goals, I think there are about 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and the ones I am mostly familiar with, Zero Hunger and all of those, they're sort of linked to the energy sector. But I will talk to you about two of them, which is SDG 7 and SDG 13. SDG 7 is clean and affordable energy. So the idea is to help accelerate access to energy, and also not only just energy. While people have access to energy, they have access to a sustainable form of energy, a clean form of energy. And then 13, on the other hand, is climate actions. So these two are sort of linked together. So in the drive towards a sustainable future, while we are trying to reduce our emissions to the atmosphere, there is a need to move to the cleaner source of energy. While trying to provide energy access, while trying to reduce energy poverty, we are using clean energy sources to do that. If you've been observant, you would have noticed that lately there have been a lot of drive for solar energy, particularly in Africa and major developing countries, because it has a lot of potentials in terms of the amount of sunlight we can get in Africa, and also the fact that it can help in regions where grids cannot even get to. So it's like having it can be decentralized majorly compared to our normal grid system. It can be decentralized, like they're called mini grids. A community, a village can have their own solar system, their batteries, or their own wind powered system, and that we supply that community. Over the years, there have been progress and there have been improvements in these communities, because imagine a community without access to electricity before. Now they have access to electricity, and the implication is that economic activity starts to boom. People from neighboring countries that don't have access to electricity would move in and carry out some businesses, and then if their major economy power is in agriculture, it's a huge strategy for them, because you can, through that electricity, you can preserve your foodstuffs, you can preserve the produce from the farm, you can also meet the local needs of the community members. For communities that they do fishing, they are able to preserve their fish. So it's a life-changing, really. The energy sector is life-changing, particularly the emerging technologies that can be decentralized, and it sort of helped to involve these rural communities, underserved communities. Okay, so this point about communities would lead me to my third point, which is like, if you're looking out to begin a career in the energy sector, particularly if you're from anywhere in the world, it's a huge opportunity to make impact in the development sector, because in some regions, some developing regions, they do not already have the technologies that are very difficult to switch into renewable energy systems, because those infrastructures have been built for years. So because we do not yet have that, it is easy for us to, I'm saying us because I'm also from a developing country, I'm from Nigeria. It's easy for us to actually transition. So we are developing our community while also using clean energy sources. So instead of having like gas fire power plants, or gas is even, the emission they say it's lower compared to some other forms of energy, or coal, it's lower compared to coal. We don't really have much of coal power plants, so we don't really have those yet. So if we can power communities, power areas without electricity with this clean energy, I think it's going to go a long way towards achieving this goal, the Paris Agreement, and also the Sustainable Development Goals that that is important to the United Nations. And I mean, those goals are basically to make the world a better place. So where do you come in? If you're starting out, where do you come in? I mean, it's a whole lot of journey, but trust me, it is worth it. And one of the things that motivated me to keep being in this sector is just the fact that you're making an impact. Really, you're making an impact. When I read stories of places that have been empowered, rural communities that have been empowered, and I'm like, this is actually changing lives. This is actually changing lives, particularly if you're from a country like mine, that our grid is always collapsing. Clean energy sources is clean decentralized energy sources is a key strategy to help in terms of community development, in terms of powering small industry, small organizations. I think it's key. So that is all I will share in this part 1 of what it is about the energy sector, beginning a career in the energy sector. So I'm going to share in my next video, hopefully, the guidelines, how I started. I'm going to talk about my story, and I will talk about others as well, because I've read stories of how people started within this sector, because I'm just starting out, I am moving, and let me just say I'm a step ahead, and I know that some of you would want to actually start, and you're looking forward to, what do I do? What do I need to do? Do I need to have an engineering background? Can I be from any of the academic background and still be in the energy sector? Yes, you can. So stay in touch so that you can get notified for my next video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.